Hello again, this is Dream Spirit, and this is my third commentary video. It's also my first time uploading in a high quality version, so please feel free to check that out. It might take a little longer to download, but hopefully you'll be able to see what's going on a little bit easier. This video was actually taken during the middle of Season 3 when we were sort of struggling up through the high 1700s brackets. Since this time, however, we've of course reached 2K plus to end Season 3. I really wanted to come back and add commentary to this video because it sort of has a little bit of everything and I think is a good example of some of the stuff that we use even in the higher, more competitive brackets. As I said in the scrolling text, Druid Warlock is often extremely ineffective against Druid Warrior, in part because the Warrior's MS hamstring intercepts multiple stuns, especially if it's a Mace spec Warrior, a high burst DPS, and general resilience towards fear, makes them extremely formidable against us. And because of the Warrior's burst DPS versus, say, my Warlock's dots, it means that I, as the healing Druid on my Warlock side, am forced to be in combat and near battle a lot more than the enemy Druid. So it means that, in general, in a long, drawn-out battle, they have the advantage. To open the match here, what you'll see is the Warrior immediately goes for my Warlock, and I put myself in a position where I can heal my partner and hopefully stay a little bit away from the Warrior and wait for the other Druid to pop. Part of the reason that my Warlock partner is in that little corner is that we suspect the Druid is going to be appearing out of stealth on top of the column. By being over in that little corner, that means that the only other spells that the Druid will be able to have range on are heals on his own partner. He won't be able to CC my partner because he'll be out of range, and he also won't be able to CC me because I'll be out of range. While this isn't necessarily the most ideal opening position, this sort of shows one of the strategies that we try to use, which is to force the other team to go where we want them to go, not to let them determine where we go on the map as much as possible, of course. So I sneak over and actually end up cycloning the Druid just so I can sort of catch up on healing, and it gives my partner's puppy a second to get up there as well. My partner also Curse of Exhaustion's the Warrior, so he can try to start running towards the Druid, and I lock down their Warrior for a little while with a batch and such. At this time of this video also I hadn't changed my movement keys to strafe, so you'll see me keyboard turning a lot rather than mouse turning, but thankfully I've gotten a lot better on that as time's gone on. My UI is of course also older than the one I use now, but still fairly close. After I lock down the Warrior for a little while, one of the things I know is that it's very hard for me to find the time to be able to drink during a fight like this, so I take every opportunity I possibly can. So when I notice that I no longer have aggro from the Warrior, I immediately drop and grab a few sieves. Also here, I notice that my partner is getting to about 60%, so I called over Ventrilo for him to drop down so I can give him a heal. The good and bad of what happened here is mostly bad on our part actually. Me taking a sip cost my Warlock his pet, which I didn't notice until far too late. As the Druid started to run away, I was able to get off a quick hibernate on him, which is great because it locks the Druid in place for a full 10 seconds, unable to cast heals or anything else, and during that time my partner is going to try to get his pet up again. And in this case, the only person that can intervene is the Warrior, which is great. We keep him in place, and I run back over to make sure that the Fel puppy is able to get on the Druid for a little while there. And I realize that I need to be a little bit more careful with the pet there. It's very crucial for us to be able to make sure that the pet stays alive, because he's very integral to this fight. So one of the things you're going to see me doing is CCing back and forth between the Warrior and the Druid based on how many hots the opponents have on them, because in some cases it's actually more mana efficient for me to use a Cyclone and deny them heals than it is for us to try to put DPS on them. One of the things also that happens here is that the Warrior starts putting hamstrings and such on the puppy so that we're actually not able to keep up with the Druid, and it looks like the puppy is going to go down. I may be spending a pile of mana trying to keep the Fel Hunter up, but past a certain point sometimes it's actually just not efficient to try to keep it alive. If it has a full stack of Sunders on it, if it has MS and it looks like it's going down, one of the things we started doing, especially once you're in the higher brackets, is hard summoning puppies. Now, since the summon takes a lot of time, we've actually found it's really good to start summoning it before the actual Fel Hunter dies. So we usually call it out and my Warlock will go behind something in LOS and try to start summoning while I continue healing the puppy that's still alive. So it actually forces the other team to make a decision. Are they going to interrupt my partner and keep him from getting the summon off? Or are they going to try to finish off the first pet? So it's actually good for both of us. Here, the plus side is we get a hard summon off. The thing that was bad is that he's actually in LOS of the warrior, which is definitely not ideal.